Hi guys, welcome to a new series where I'm going to talk about an anime and what it's really taught me. So normally when I do these things I make a list, but I don't have a list, so I'm just going to kind of talk about the sort of things that these animes have taught me and how they've helped me to develop as a person. So the first anime, I have a little picture of it on this notebook, and if that don't tell you how influential this is and was to me, I don't know what will. So the anime is going to be Naruto. The reason I'm talking about this one first is because it has had a big impact on my life, and so we're going to talk about that. Let's go back a little bit to when I actually discovered this anime, and then I'll tell you the lessons that it taught me as a person. So, I first discovered this anime through a couple of friends at school. They were telling me that the show would come on Cartoon Network every day, or it might have been every weekend. I can't exactly remember. I want to say that it was like every day for a while there that they would play it. So if a lot of you don't know like what I'm even talking about here, Cartoon Network used to play like anime, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously Naruto, and a couple of other animes. It would be like every day. So this was kind of after the like Toonami in the evening thing. So this wasn't Toonami. This was like something else before I got into it. Is what I'm saying here. Anyway, so my friends was like, you need to watch this. Obviously, the 2 or 3 of them were like guys, and then I knew 2 or 3 girls that watched this. So me and my best friend, which by the way, if you're watching this, hey, you know who you are, best friend from elementary school, what's up? But basically we were kind of being a little bit mean at that time, and we were sort of we weren't like making fun of the people that watched it. We were just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever, blah blah blah, who even cares? Because we watched like Pokemon, and that was about our knowledge of anime. Pokemon and maybe Dragon Ball Z, but there was nothing really further than that. Anyway, so me and this friend, who we were both, super close, she got into it before I actually did. She watched a couple of episodes of it, and she really, really loved it, and called me up one day and was like, hey, turn on your TV to Cartoon Network. This anime Naruto is really good. Of course, at the time, I don't even think we knew it was called anime. So she was like, this cartoon's really good. You need to watch it. And so what I did is I turned it on, and we would sit on the phone and talk and watch this anime. So while it was on, we would watch. While it was on break, we would talk. I know. But if that don't tell you how close we were back in the day, and like we're still, good terms. We're still kind of like that now, is what I was saying. But anyway, so we were sitting there watching this and all this stuff, and I got into it, and I thought, oh, that's really cool. It's so cool that like the action, the way it's animated. I wasn't really, really, really into Pokemon, but I was enough that I knew, like, that, the animation style. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. It kind of reminds me of Pokemon, so just keep, watching and watching and watching and watching. Well, anyway, it got into a habit that we started watching it together on the phone. As I said, at this time, I didn't have internet, so there was no, like, video chat, watch it like that sort of thing. There was none of that. We just would talk on the phone and watch this show together. So we got really into it. We just kind of, had fun with it. Had fun with watching it. Had fun with each other, with enjoying this. we really loved it. So I started collecting the Naruto cards, which if you guys don't know, they made Naruto cards. I have a bunch. I don't have a whole lot, but I collected a pretty good amount of them. And so, yeah, that's how I got into it. I got into it through a best friend of mine, and we watched it every day, basically, together. So that is how I got into Naruto, and that's really why it has a close-knit, like, spot for me, is because I shared it with a good friend of mine. So, anyway, so you might wonder, like, how can an anime or a cartoon have an impact on you? Well, just like movies or TV shows that you might have watched when you were younger or that you watch now as an adult, they have some sort of, whether you know it or not, impact on your life. So with Naruto, it was sort of this thing where these characters were literally part of my childhood, because I started watching this at the age of 10, and I think I finished the whole entire thing at maybe 12. I don't remember. Anyway, when they stopped playing it on Cartoon Network, that's like when they finished the whole series, that's when I, like, you know what I mean. I stopped watching it, and I really kind of stopped with anime in general at this time, and then didn't get back into it until I was like 18. If you don't know, I'm 21 right now. Okay, so I've rambled about that. So anyway, the way that it sort of impacted me was in that way that I shared it with a friend, and it reminded me of, like, my childhood. But I would see these characters, and especially the main character, Naruto, obviously, it's what the show's named after. He had sort of this huge ambition to become the Hokage, or, in other words, basically, like, I'm gonna call it King, for all of you that might not be familiar with the show. It's sort of like a king of his village, or a person that runs the village, pretty much. And so this big ambition that this child had made me think when I was younger, well, if he can do that, then I can do what other sort of thing I wanted to do, as long as I kept my mind focused on the one thing that I wanted to do, no matter what it was. So it gave me a lot of, like, inspiration. And it's really hard not to get inspired by this anime, because almost every episode has something that you can take from it. So it's sort of this thing. Even Shippuden, there's another series, if you don't know, that's built from the original one. It's like a part 2, if you will. Even that has some kind of inspirational thing behind it. So I took inspiration from it to be able to do pretty much whatever I wanted to do in life, as long as I tried with it. And so with that being said, I would put my mind on something and try my hardest to do whatever it is. I'm still like that as an adult. I take that sort of idea and I work really hard on stuff. So that's one thing. Another thing it taught me is that friendship is important. At the end of the day, the relationships that you have with people are more important, really, than anything else. And you can see that between, and again, I'm going to talk about Shippuden as well. You can see that with Naruto and with Sasuke and with all the people that have come in contact with Naruto. Your relationships are super important in life, and that's really what people need to focus on. But another thing, while I was thinking about that, another thing that occurred to me is that everything that you do every single day, whether you know it or not, just like Naruto in the show, he didn't know that, like, he was impacting people. He was sort of just living his life. So every little thing that you do has an impact on someone else. And that's what this show taught me, is that everything, every action that I do could impact another person. positive or negative. Now, I'm not trying to make this become a me telling you what to do with your life or whatever, but just think about that for a minute. Not to blow your mind or anything, but everything that you do impacts someone, whether it's in a huge major way or in a smaller minor way. Every single thing. So hopefully you'll make the right decisions and let things impact you in a positive way. Let things impact you and others in a positive way. That's kind of the three things that this show has taught me, this anime, and it holds a close, near, dear place in my heart. I'm sure there's other lessons that I learned from this anime. This anime actually got me into wanting to watch other animes. I know for a lot of people, like, their first anime may be like Naruto, and it might be like Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon. And you don't really think about that stuff when you're younger, but when you get older, you're like, wow, okay, yeah, that was the first anime I watched. It got me into this and this and this and whatever. But it's a really great anime, and I recommend, if you've never seen it, that you do go and watch it. It's really good. I'm not for sure where you can watch it. I know that places like Crunchyroll, and it might be on a place like Hulu. I don't really know, because I don't have like any of these websites. I'm just kind of recalling like from when I was younger, basically. So if you want to check any of these, either one of those animes, Naruto or Naruto Shippuden, I recommend that you do. They're really good, and I recommend you kind of go in with an open mind and sit down and try to maybe obtain something from it, but mostly be entertained by it. Hopefully you like it, and you will continue to like it. So thanks so much for watching this, guys. I'm going to make this a continuous series where I just sit down and talk about what some animes have taught me. I'll try to be a little bit more structured with some of the other ones, but for this, I kind of just wanted to sit down and tell you a little bit about it and why that this particular anime had a lot of impact for me. Some of the other ones as well have, and I'm going to tell you about that as much as I possibly can. So again, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Feel free to comment down below. If this particular anime had an impact on your childhood or your adulthood, feel free to comment that down below, or if you want, you can hit me up on my social media accounts and we can talk about it. Down below in the description are the links to all my social medias. Feel free to subscribe to this channel, because I post new videos every single Saturday, and usually they're entertaining, and I don't really always have a theme to them. I just kind of make, videos. My channel is that. It's just making videos and having a good time creating and posting up stuff. So I'll see you guys next Saturday. Have a great day, and bye.